Darren, what do you think the vibe is down the 401 in Ottawa? Michael Andlauer, who I think I know him. He's a great guy, and he's in there as the owner now.
Yeah.
Is it like you better make the playoffs this year, or is it he wants to wait and see? Or I know the players are saying the right things, and they kind of feel like they showed up the goaltending. Is it just playoffs or bust, or what's the mood there?
No, it's very positive, and I think it's full throttle. They've got a couple of pieces that they want to look after here, and I suspect that they'll get that done sooner than later. Pinto comes to mind. Beyond that, how are the pieces of this puzzle going to stay in play here? You've got some other issues outside that are kind of swirling about. Andlauer wants to get this deal done. And when I talk about the outside issues, I mean, it's the ongoing speculation of, okay, well, Steve Staios has been speculated to be going to Ottawa for months. Probably as soon as we could legitimately connect Michael Andlauer to the Ottawa Senators. Steve Staios was joined at the hip there. Is that a move? Is Andlauer going to do anything to that front office as soon as the ink dries on the signature to get this deal done? That's what we don't know. In the meantime, you've got Pierre Dorion, who continues to do his work. So I think for the most part, aside from ownership, the off-ice has been done. But I think it was Frankie Corrado recently that talked about Ottawa being curious to him in terms of hotspot teams and hotspot coaches and things like that. And, I anticipate that Ottawa is going to have a strong year. Let's see how their start goes. But what if they don't? Does Andlauer get twitchy? And does that then put full crosshairs on Pierre Dorion? And does DJ Smith ultimately become a target down the path? I mean, those are the questions that we're going to kind of focus on if things don't go well from the start for the Sens.
Yeah, and I think the players are watching closely too, right? Like you got a new owner, but it doesn't affect your day-to-day job. I mean, you guys speak about this all the time. The owner, it doesn't affect how you practice, how you're game planning or whatever. But there are some guys who have been there for a while, and there are guys who have committed long-term, right? Like Kachuk is committed, Stützle's committed, now Sanderson's committed. And it's on them to get the job done. But yeah, I would think if that's your young core, you're probably looking at ownership, and I guess in conjunction with whoever is going to be in management. And at this point, it's Pierre Dorion, and no reason to believe Pierre is going anywhere.
No,
how do we invest in everything else? And how much money are you going to pump in, and how do we get this thing rocking? I think it's really exciting, though. I think it should be a very exciting time in Ottawa.
Right. I think so. And Noodles can speak to the goaltending there. I mean, I'm intrigued by it, but not in a negative sense. I think, there should be a decent battle there. For any team, it's about good health, right? Like if Josh Norris can stay healthy, if all their guys can stay healthy up front, man, they should be rock solid. I think they're going to be a fun team to watch. I do. And I think that the ownership and all that stuff is more of a sidebar at this point.
Well, their start is key, and they've had 3 terrible ones in the row.
Yeah.
That's and you get injuries, you get all these things, you can have all these excuses. Couldn't get a save from Matt Murray for 2 years in a row. But at the end of the day, you're up. The Atlantic is a juggernaut. Like you've got, Pacific ended up being by the end of the year, but the Atlantic was all season long. And if you expect some of those teams to either take a step back or give away points, you've got to find a way to do it. And I was looking at their schedule. I think 13 of the first 17 they play at home, which is a favorable schedule. You've got to find a way,
Yeah.
So all the lip service, and we've talked about it, Hayes, you say it too. You got to back it up. They got the contracts, the core's all signed. Now you got to go out and prove it. You got to go out and do something, because it's hey, we've won the offseason again. Hey, we did all this. It's what you do on the ice, and there should be no excuses. You got to find a way to get to that next level if you're the Senators.